Welcome back to the Shut Up and Dill podcast. It's been a little while since we recorded, so I hope we can remember how to do this. And we do have a special guest. We have my littlest bear, Olivia, here, and she's a little bit nervous. But, Livy, can you start us off with saying hello?
Hi. Oh, I didn't say hello. Oops.
You're good. No, that's good. And I'm one of your co-hosts, as normal, Nicki. And we also have
Vivi.
And Jimbo.
All right. So we are going to kick off with a little bit about our partners that we have, and then we'll jump into a new format for the show, which is a shorter show. Hopefully you guys can listen to it on your commutes while you're on your way to pickleball. So we're trying to hit 20-minute episodes now. But a little bit about our partners first, Jimbo.
Yeah, so 002, they've been with us since the beginning. We've got some great tournaments coming up. They always put on great events. I think they always get good reviews after their tournaments. But they do have a few tournaments that are on picklebrackets.com. They have Horseshoe Bay. They have a Pickle Land indoor tournament coming up in Austin in the summer sometime. I think it's in July. And then there's another maybe summer or fall.
It's
classic.
in October.
In October,
It's
so that's the fall Dink and Slam.
Yeah.
But anyways, go to Pickleball Brackets, type in the keyword 002. Their tournaments will come up, and you can register there, and be sure and use our discount code to save yourself some money. Dill, D-I-L-L. Mm-hmm. And then also Hands Pickleball, our newest partner. Hands is they're a pickleball equipment gear company. They have a little bit of everything. We've got some great gear from them that we are looking forward to trying out and giving some reviews. They're also partnered with Texas Pickle Hall, which is going to be a new indoor facility here in San Antonio.
Yes.
Yep, state-of-the-art equipment, state-of-the-art facility. Looking forward to the opening of Texas Pickle Hall.
All right. Good. All right.
Those are our partners.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, we appreciate your support every week. So we're going to jump into our episode, which this week is going to be about paddle technology. This has been a little bit of a hot topic on the paddle technology. One, they're getting faster and faster. So the speed on the court, it requires you to be faster, have faster reaction times, and the price of the paddles. Vivi, I don't know if you remember, but Jimbo, I'm sure you do. Do you remember what the first paddles cost you? And I'm not talking about the Monarchs that you got from like Walmart, right? I'm talking about the first moment when you knew, like, hey, I really want to play, and this is the first paddle I'm going to do. Do you remember what that cost you?
Yeah,
guys?
mine was an Onyx Z5, and it was still like at the time it was still one of the sought after paddles, and I think it was like $89. It was probably $90.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vivi,
And
do
it
you remember
wasn't, like,
any
dirt
of
cheap.
yours?
What do you think? What do you think you paid Chip for my Selkirk Invicta?
That was a gift.
Oh, you didn't. It was free
Yeah.
$99.
It was free $99.
$3.99. All right, we like $3.99.
But then, where did you go after?
The BJ.
Oh, the Ben Johns. Yeah, so that's
$100.
$100 discount was, I think, who doesn't use a discount when you buy a paddle? So I think it was like $85 through Ambassador.
Yeah. Yeah. And now paddles are easily going for over $200.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they're close to $300.
Yeah, close to $300.
Closer to $300. I mean, if we're talking like the new line, the Pro Series gearboxes
The
and
Selkirks. I feel like Selkirk
Selkirks.
is really pushing it.
Yeah.
Like the Halo is probably $240, $250.
yeah. Well, I know the Yola Gen 3 paddles are $279.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, what really kind of grinds my gears about this, sorry.
Old terminology.
I don't know if this bothers y'all, but okay, when I first came to pickleball, one of the things that attracted me was that it was less expensive than tennis. In tennis, you have to buy the racket, right? Which
Right.
was around the same price points, like $300.
Yeah.
But you had to restring it all the time.
Yeah.
So overall, I thought, okay, over under, like I'm going to save money by going to the sport because I'm not having to string my racket every 2-3 months. So I didn't break a lot of strings. But now, like the paddles don't even last that long. Like,
Right.
They wear out in under 6 months, but normally about every 3 months, you're kind of looking at a dead paddle.
Yeah.
So if I do the math, I don't know that it is any cheaper to play pickleball.
Tournaments as well. I mean,
Let's not go. Yes, you're 100% right.
It's a different show.
well,
That's a different
here's
show.
the
We can
thing.
talk.
I remember. Okay, I'm sorry, but
No, no, go ahead,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
say it.
Do it,
Like
say it.
whenever I was playing level 7, 6 tournaments, what did you pay for my compass draw tournament?
Oh man, well the membership was free, like USTA junior membership was free, and then I think it might have been like $50.
And next gen, pretty much the same idea. Juniors, a bunch of juniors, and $300.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
spread out
more.
over 3 days. Blossom USTA tournaments were 2 days usually.
Yeah.
Like the compass draw is 2 days.
So it's $25 a day. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so I guess we have another episode that we can do is overall cost of pickleball risings. But let's
breaking down the cost.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a great
Let's
episode.
Get mathematical.
I think it's a great idea. We can, I'm all in. So, but as far as paddles, little Livy, do you know what paddle you use right now?
It's like the gammy or something.
Yummy.
The gammy.
The Gamma.
The gamma.
Yeah, I can't remember which series it is, but it's a Gamma, and it cost I think around $80.
Yeah.
80, $90 for a first paddle.
You would say that's a pretty good price.
Yeah.
Battle.
For a first paddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For junior paddle too. Let's not forget, it's a junior paddle. It's smaller, a little bit. The grip's smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where everybody starts is right around
80.
that price point, a little under 80.
Yeah, I think
I mean, a
my
little
first
under
one
100.
was the Outbreak. Was that my first? The Outbreak.
I don't know.
It was the one with the really like odd grip. It.
Oh, like a hexagon kind of.
Yes. Yeah. It sold me on it, and
Yeah.
I want to say it was around 100.
Yeah.
For the first paddle. But now coming into the game, you can expect to drop a couple $100 if you want to get a decent paddle. There's
Yeah.
a ton of paddles out there that are affordable.
Right.
But if you are one that looks at like, the Joneses, like who's got what, and I
Yeah.
want to stay up with who's got what, you're going to drop a couple $100
Yeah.
a couple times a year. And the technology behind them is really making things faster. So, what are y'all's thoughts on will it eventually get so fast that it'll kind of exclude or decrease the amount of amateurs that are able to handle playing at a high level?
Well, what I've been thinking since you've been talking is I feel like we're not giving those $150 paddles a chance. When I've been looking for a new paddle, and I remember when I got my head, it was like 160, but
Yeah.
no one really uses head. Who uses head? But I tried it out, and it's my favorite paddle of all time.
Yeah.
And I feel like we need to do more of that, like those smaller brands, not smaller, but smaller in the pickleball world, and try them out, because you never know what it's gonna be if you don't give it a chance. Like we Yola, Selkirk, Gearbox, they're all our mainstream. But if you just dig a little deeper, I'm sure there's some
Oh yeah.
good paddles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I agree. I think if you're just starting out and you're really serious about playing and you want to be competitive and you buy, I don't know, you buy a paddle that is a decent price range, the paddles are making a difference. I think. I mean, for a lot of players. So, like, if you're starting out with something that maybe doesn't have the technology that Selkirk, or like you're way behind, like you're already behind because you're starting, because you're just starting.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like to Vivi's point, I've found like I've gone with my QDEF, a Gen 2, great price point. It's been really, really sturdy paddle. I think I just had to get rid of the first one I bought, and that was at Christmas time. So
Yeah.
it was before Christmas, so about 6 months, close to 6 months, going on that paddle. And I did, like, I may or may not have tossed it. So, that, but I really like I like the quality. I don't know how far behind I am with that paddle, but I love it. I know some great players that use it, and I feel like I'm playing just as good as, or not better than when I played with, my, $300 paddle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know I haven't hit any of the new stuff, and I
Yeah.
kind of don't want to. I think hopefully the consumers are going the route that Vivi's talking about, and kind of the route that I've decided, like, I'm just going to find something that, is maybe in my budget that I feel comfortable with, and, I can buy 3 for the price of 1, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of great, give or take. I think there's a lot of great paddles out there that are affordable, but you can't get your hands on them as easily to try them. So you
Right.
really are spending money trying to figure out what may work.
Yeah, right.
So in the end, do you end up spending the same amount trying these paddles because they're not really set up with like Pickleball Central, because they're not mainstream enough, so you
Right.
can't go and demo them.
Yeah.
So, but I've had my fair share of paddles that I've used that were kind of an independent brand that cost less. That's one of the reasons why I used Licks for a while, was
Yeah.
that, they had affordable prices, but then they had the return policy as well, that you could return it and get any other paddle for $100.
Right.
They're the only company I've ever seen do that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's really neat. You just happened to give me the current paddle that I'm playing with one day, and I thought,
Yeah.
I really like this one.
Right.
But I've got 2, and one hits differently than the other one. And I do have it in the back of my head of, okay, they're eventually going to wear out. One of them's probably already there, and the other one's going to.
Right.
I don't know that I want to replace them with the same brand.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go down that tunnel again of what brand do I want to
Yeah.
play with.
Right.
But I do think the technology can get and make it difficult for amateur players, and maybe they don't recognize as they're getting up in level that technology is a benefit to them, and they're still playing with the paddle that they've had in the beginning, and they really
Yeah.
do need to look at another
Yeah.
paddle
Yeah.
if they really want to stay
Right.
competitive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, go.
No. I want you talk.
Well, I don't know. We were talking a little bit about it before the show, but I mean, these paddles are getting faster and faster. They're poppy, and I think maybe these companies are they're designing for the pros, right? I mean, maybe some amateurs, I mean, I guess the selling point to amateurs is like, hey, you're going to hit the ball harder with this thing.
Yeah.
It's faster in your hands. But, like, let's say Olivia, maybe in a year or two, she wants to play a 3-0 tournament, mixed doubles, 3-0, 19 plus, right? So there's a lot of beginners, there, I mean, people that haven't been playing too long. And you put, a 25-year-old man with, one of these super poppy paddles that maybe doesn't have the control, that some of the pros do with it in their hands. It can be super, it can be super dangerous if you can't control it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you don't have the control, if you're just looking to hit the ball hard, which a lot of amateurs in general are,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
makes you think, like how safe are these paddles?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, especially, I think you bring up a great point for junior players, and I think, Vivi, maybe you can add some insight. But when thinking about Olivia and the speed that's coming from these paddles, you are right that if she were to play somebody who's in their 20s, because juniors really are forced to play with adults.
Yeah, right.
If they want to go into a main draw tournament, it isn't big enough where they have juniors only. It's
Yeah.
usually, kind of combined with adult players that may be coming from another sport, swinging big, swinging hard. You hope that they're a little bit more reserved, but honestly, they want to win.
Yeah.
So she would face that. Vivi, did you at any point, especially when you were learning, I know now it doesn't phase you as much, but kind of rewind back maybe 3 years ago, did you ever get kind of overwhelmed by the pace that was going on the court?
The pace, I feel like I always, to be blunt, no.
Yeah.
I feel like I always had some partner that I feel like could either like carry me or like be able to help me through it without like letting me get freaked out about it. Which is not the paddle's fault, which is kind of what I'm getting at. I'm like, yes, this, like, talking about a little 11, 12-year-old playing against, a 20-year-old man or even a 20-year-old girl,
Yeah.
20-year-old woman. Some of these girls are crazy,
Yeah.
and it can be dangerous, but part of it is also, like, skill, and we have to, like, take that into consideration, like,
Yeah.
it is like, the game is getting faster, which it obviously started off like an old person sport, and it is getting away from that. But what can we do? Like, it's just like we have to adjust. Like, we have to adjust skill. And I'm not saying like that's not what you're saying, but I'm just saying like I want to say that in this episode, like I don't want to like say this paddle technology is getting too advanced, but I am going to say, like, it is getting harder for, like, this was good because it wasn't as hard as on your joints and on your bones and muscles or, whatever, and now, like, it is.
Yeah.
Which definitely changed the whole, like, audience
Right.
of this sport. So.
What's interesting is when you have a pro, like Julian has come out, who actually does have a paddle brand, and he's come out and said, hey, the paddle companies don't care. They're putting technology in here that's dangerous.
Yeah.
What's interesting is a pro is saying that I mean, they're elite in what they do, and they're saying, hey, this is becoming to the point where it's not safe. That being said, tennis went through the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's what brought the next wave of ultra elite tennis players.
Yeah.
The ones that physically could handle what
Right.
the rackets were, because the rackets, it was revolutionary between wood rackets and graphite rackets. And like it was the evolution that happened in tennis really did require a better athlete to apply to be a pro. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't anybody could do it. So I think that
Right.
might be the dividing line is if you're going pro, like you can't just be a good natural athlete. You have to be kind of elite in order to be considered for that. Olivia, did you have something you wanted to add and lean in to
I wanted to bounce off of something that Vivi said. So like starting from my age, well, I started when I was like 9, right?
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
You've hit a couple times, yes.
Yeah. So if I were to go into one of those tournaments, I don't know if I would have somebody to play with. So I'd be forced to go solo, and then if I'm doing solo and I'm going against like a 20-year-old woman or 20-year-old man, then there's nobody else I can rely on but myself, and that'd be pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. You may not know somebody, that can help you out on the court. So you may have to have what's called a blind date. Oh, this is a good question for you. Yeah, we can segue to this because we're running out of time as we want to ask Livy some random pickleball questions. But in pickleball, what do you think a blind date is?
It's where you get paired up to somebody for duos and you play with them.
Yeah, somebody that you don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a blind date.
Like a blind date, yes. So you know what a blind date is.
Well,
yeah.
that's one of the hardest things about pickleball is finding a partner, like a partner that you can mesh with and, practice with and learn how to get, better with. So that's a good point. Like that's one of the hardest things in pickleball is finding a partner. But I was also going to add, and I don't know, if you guys have heard some of Zane mentioned it also about how baseball,
Yes.
kind
I
of
found it very
is doing it right, and they're working opposite of what pickleball is working. Like the pros, the very best in the world, they do not use aluminum bats. They don't use a double shell bat. They use a wooden bat. That's all it is. It's wood. Where just because the core of the aluminum bat is so thin, and the wall is so thin, and the core is so thick. Like the ball is it's just super dangerous. It's super dangerous to put an aluminum bat or metal bat in the best players in the world's hands. So they have to they have to adjust to wood, which is kind of the opposite of what pickleball is doing. Kind of the opposite of what tennis did. They went from wood to graphite, right? So he brought up a good point, in saying that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that was really interesting. I thought, is that somewhere that the sport could go if it does become too difficult and safety is a concern?
Yeah.
So
I just don't think people want to see that. People don't want to see that. Like the audience of pickleball, like you talked about.
well, as they're growing the sport, I don't think that's
No.
the way to do it is slow it down.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. Do we have any other questions for Livy that we want to ask? She's ready to talk, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. I feel like this was super she wanted to come on the show and I wasn't prepared. I didn't come with any questions. I could have came up with some mega good questions, but
So what is the best part about pickleball for you? What do you like most about pickleball?
Well, I like smashing the ball,
Okay.
You do like to swing big.
but then sometimes that leads to it being out of bounds. And then I also like when a ball goes out, I'm like, "Ow!" I yell out.
No, you do yell
like
really
to
loud,
yell
which refs would really like that. They like you to yell out, and you do it really, really loud.
I like to yell.
Yeah, you do. You get pretty angry on the court, though.
ooh.
Yeah, I do. Well,
Do you like practicing just hitting back and forth to people, or do you prefer a game situation better?
Well, it really depends. So if it's a game, I would really like it if they were to my skill, not somebody better, because I know that it's going to be really hard or impossible to beat them yet. So,
So
but
you're out to win. When you play a game, you want to win. You're not worried about learning, or you want to win. Is that right?
and then for what's the other thing?
Practicing?
Yeah, practicing. I like to practice too because it makes me learn more to win games.
Yeah, when it's
Into
time
a
for a
better
game.
place.
Yeah, yep. True.
She likes to win.
Who doesn't?
She likes to hit hard and win. I don't know where she got that from.
So you know what we need to do? We need to practice, but while we're practicing, what we do is we make a game out of practice. We can compete against ourselves while we're practicing.
Yeah, but I never really had the time to practice.
So what do you like the least about pickleball?
Let me think about this. I mean, I don't like to lose,
Okay.
and I get frustrated when somebody's explaining something, but and then I don't get it, and then they get mad at me for not getting it, and then sorry, I've had somebody do that, like the man I went with.
Got mad at you?
Wait, what?
He didn't get no. He didn't get mad at me. He didn't really get mad at me. He just he was trying to teach me it, and I didn't really get it. And then he was like, "Oh well." I quit.
Yeah.
What man did you go
Are you
with?
talking about the YMCA?
Oh, at the Y?
With the machine, with the ball machine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
He's a
He
pretty
was
nice
yeah, he was really nice. He's probably trying to maybe maybe he was trying to give you some pointers, and you maybe just didn't understand the pointers, or you weren't
Yeah.
maybe listening to the pointers.
Sometimes you don't slow enough down to listen.
Maybe like I overthought that he was mad at me, but he wasn't.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was mad at you.
Well, to our listeners, if you have an opinion on the paddles and the technology, and if you feel like the change over time has made it more difficult for you to stay competitive, or if it's had no effect on you at all, share your thoughts. Let us know.
Yeah.
We thought it was interesting, so let us know what you think. We appreciate you listening to this episode, and we're trying to make them a little bit shorter for you guys, so hopefully you can catch them on your way to work or anything.
Yep. And stay locked in for the whole show.
Yeah, and be sure to like and share on social platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We also YouTube. Yep. YouTube
And our
as well.
website.
Yes.
Yeah, shutupanddill.com.
Shutupanddill.com. Yep.
Pickleball podcast. Yes.
Yes. No. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.